So Bootstrap is a combination or the aggregation of lots of folks who have been at this for quite a while. They have created lots of these stylings, right, and created all these classes for us that we can then just apply to our own elements, right, without having to reinvent the wheel, right? These folks, they own it, they maintain it, they do the testing, they apply, and as much as possible, we want to reuse that as much as we can. So we're going to load the Bootstrap, and one way that we can load the Bootstrap is to go fetch it from a CDN. A CDN is a content delivery network. So let's go fetch Bootstrap CDN. And so we can grab that. So these are servers whose only reason of being is to host these files for us, right? They are meant to be up 100% of the time, right? They're not going to crash, and they're guaranteed to be able to host your content for you much faster than you could yourself, right? So let's apply to our login page, and we're going to do a link. Link href that URL, and we're going to say that this is a style sheet. Okay. So if we load our login page, all right. So it already starts looking somewhat prettier. It uses a different font. And now we can start using some of the styling classes and templates and snippets, right, that might make this a little prettier. So for instance, one of the input fields, we can apply a class, which is very common in the style sheet, which is a form control. Okay, notice that immediately it converts it into a full-blown, takes up the entire width of the page, adds rounded corners. One thing, notice that everything is flush with the borders, which looks somewhat ugly. So we can wrap this whole thing inside of a div. Okay, we can wrap it and say that we want to apply a class of container. So container adds additional margins on either side, right? It centers the content, right? And starts adding some padding so that it starts looking a little prettier, right? So we can apply some of these class to some of these other controllers. To the password, we can refresh. So there's password. Login, we can apply some styling there as well. We can say class, this is a button. Right, so notice that immediately changes the styling a little bit. We can say that we want to have a particular color. We can say a primary. Primary has a color scheme. The Bootstrap has a color scheme. Primary, they've chosen blue. There's several other colors like success. Success is green, like the color of money. Successful. We can also make it so that, notice that the default behavior is that it takes up the width of the content, yes? And we can change that, and we can change the behavior to be block. Yeah, block, which takes the entire width of the page. We'll talk about what block means. Again, this is, and also it's automatically responsive, right? So that it resizes, right? So that it looks good at every width of the page. Make sense? All right. So we'll build on this a little more tomorrow. We'll work on some of the registration. We'll start looking at jQuery and whatnot, JavaScript, so we can dynamically manipulate this, and we'll continue that tomorrow. Thanks.